Okay. So first of all, when we say transportation in plants animals, so what is the first thing that comes to mind? Transportation of what? Yes,
Food.
transportation of what? Of food and
So like oxygen.
oxygen. Very good. Oxygen or
Sir, food
Like
waste.
food waste. Very good.
so blood.
Blood. Yeah, good. Right.
So does water come under? Like
Water is
what?
also there. Exactly, water is also there. Right. So whether it's the plant or whether it's the animals, everyone needs to transport these things you guys just mentioned, whether it be oxygen, whether it be carbon dioxide also, right? Whether it be the waste produced in their body, whether it be the food that is produced in their body in the process of respiration, right now, or whether it be water as well. So all these has to be transported in the body of whether a plant or whether an animal. In fact, you could be including organisms on a microscopic level also, right? All those microscopic organisms, whether you study about funguses, whether you study about protozoa, whether you study about algae, these different type of microorganisms, they also needs to do transportation. So in animals, when we'll be studying about transportation, we will be studying at both the levels, whether you have the multicellular organisms or whether you have got the unicellular organisms. Yeah. Okay. Since the terms I have used the term cell here, by the way, do you know who was the scientist who discovered the cell? Yeah, who discovered the cell, by the way? Yes, hello. Yeah, I suppose I'm still audible in the class.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
I
So,
think so. It was something like Robert.
mhm. Robert,
Robert.
very good, very good.
Uh,
Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke. That is the complete name. So in the year 1618, Robert Hooke discovered the cell. Okay. Uh, Anyways, let's get back to the chapter. So we are basically discussing here that whether it's the plants or whether it's the animals, they all need to transport different type of materials in their body, and for the transport there has to be a transportation system also.
sir.
Yeah. Yes, I'm hearing, I'm
Sir,
listening.
in their cells,
Mhm.
um, they also transport the carbon dioxide also, no?
Exactly, exactly. In the cells also we get to see that there's transportation of oxygen inside the cell, and then the waste material, that is carbon dioxide, is produced. It has to be excreted out from the cell. So yeah, waste material produce carbon dioxide, that is also transported. Getting it now?
Sir, I have to urgently leave somewhere. Can I take backup?
Okay, okay, no issue. Okay,
Bye, sir.
okay, bye. So we get to see that in the case of animals, whether it be on a microscopic level, so you have got unicellular organisms, there also transportation takes place. So I say that in order for the transportation to take place, you need a transportation system, right? So we are going to study about the transportation system in the class. Okay. So they are for transport of different type of materials. We have got different transportation system in the human body, right now. Getting it now? Like for the transportation of basically food or water, right now. Food, water, or whether it be oxygen or whether it be carbon dioxide, you have got the human circulatory system.
Yes, sir.
Okay, human circulatory system is there, where you have different organs that take part in it. Like you have got heart, you have got blood vessels, right? Namely the vein and the artery,
Yes,
right
sir.
now.
Lungs.
Lungs, in the human circulatory system particularly, it is not included. Okay.
Oh, okay, sir.
Hmm. So in human circulatory system, we get to in the transpiratory system, we will be studying that. Okay, now in the transpiratory system, that starts from the
Can you repeat what
nostrils.
you just said? I didn't get it.
In the transpiratory system, okay, now in the respiratory system, sorry, in the respiratory system, we will understand like how the flow of air takes place in the human body up to the lungs. Okay, and there are from the lungs, the blood carries the oxygenated blood towards the hearts, and heart will be basically pumping the blood to different parts of the body. Okay, thereby you will study in the class there are different type of blood vessels, namely artery and the veins. One will be carrying a oxygen rich blood, one will be carrying a oxygen deficient blood. Getting it now? And then there you will get to see that these veins are having somewhat differences between them. So those differences you will also study in the chapter, right? Okay, and you will also study in the chapter like you all know about the pulse rate, right? We can measure manually pulse rate like this right now. So what is the concept of pulse right now? So that is also one of the things which we are going to study in the class. Also, the different type of organs that are part of the human circulatory system, namely the heart, that we will study in detail. How heart is pumping blood. Okay, what is the mechanism involved in that? How blood is flowing through the heart. All that thing we'll be covering in the class. Okay. Then there are different things associated with the heart. Like there is a heartbeat. Okay. So why is it that the heartbeat increases or the heartbeat decreases? Or basically what heartbeat actually is? So those things we are going to study. We have got the stethoscope using which you can measure the heartbeat, right? And then after
Yes, sir.
having done with the circulatory system, okay, we will get to understand like about other animals, about animals apart from the humans. Do they also have circulatory system in their body? Obviously, yes. Yeah, it is not as much complex as the human beings, but they do also have right now. So if you were to look at animals like hydra, remember I told you about the hydra,
Yes, sir.
right? Okay, that does sexual reproduction by budding, by the way, right? So they will also be doing circulation. They also will be having a circulatory system in their body. So that will be somewhat different. After having discussed with the human circulatory system, we will be talking about the excretory system as well. So right now it's just a I'm just giving you a brief of the different topics that we're going to discuss in the class. Okay. So we will be studying about the excretory system, especially in the human beings, right? Thereby you will get to see
Yes,
that
sir.
there are different types of organs involved in it. You guys tell me what are the different organs involved in the excretory system in humans?
So large intestine.
Excretory system.
Oh,
Where does it
so
basically
rectum.
start from? Which one?
Rectum.
Rectum is also part of it.
So
Okay.
anus.
Anus is also there.
So like
Okay.
ureter, urinary bladder.
Exactly. Kidneys
Sir,
are also
kidney.
there.
Yeah,
Good
kidney.
on this. Kidney, urethra is there, urinary bladder is there, ureters are there, right? So these are the different organs involved in the excretory system in humans, right?
Sir, liver also, right? I think so.
Liver in the excretory system, no, livers are not part of it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now. Now then you will just like we will understand about the circulatory system in different other animals and plants. Same we will get to see like different other type of animals will also be having a they also need to excrete the waste produced in their body, right? Okay, so that also we will be studying. And then while you will be studying about the human excretory system, no, we will study especially about urine. Okay, what is the composition of the urine, right? So urine, it consists of so many toxic waste in it, right? So that is why it has to be removed from the body. If the urine accumulates in the body for a longer period of time, then there could be formation of uric acid, right now, and it could be having some side effects. Okay. Now, later on in the class, we will also study about the manner in which excretion takes, how waste is removed from different other animals, like in the case of fishes, in the case of birds, what type of excretory system they possess, right? Why is it that you get to see that the waste material excreted by birds or snakes or lizards are usually white colored? Okay, now. So those are some of the general factual things that we will also be studying in the class. Okay. Further, I suppose you guys all have heard of the term dialysis. Huh?
Yes, sir.
If someone, unfortunately, if you were to see, is suffering from dialysis, unfortunately, right now, where the kidney is not functioning properly any longer, so people will be using kind of artificial kidneys, right? So where blood is artificially purified, right now. Okay. Later
Yes, sir.
on, by the way,
Sir, I have a doubt.
just like, uh
Sir, if the kidney is not functioning properly, then why can't they transplant? I mean, like, oh, from the people who
Hmm.
recently expired or who
Look
are
here.
interested in donating.
Hmm. The thing here is no. The thing here is that not much people are here, particularly in India. The peoples usually do not donate their organs usually, right? So you will get to see that illegally kidneys are uh, stolen from the patients many a
People's
times.
body.
From the dead bodies also it is stolen, right? And there's an illegal market where kidneys are being sold. Usually
Yes,
you
sir.
call it like the black market where the kidneys are sold, right? There have been many cases. In fact, I read a news few months back. There was a woman.
Human
Sh-
organs trafficking.
exactly. So basically saw that. Yeah. So I basically, the news was that the woman, she had a stomach pain. She has a stomach ache. She went to the hospital for the treatment. So and later on, she found out that the doctor operated on her, and one of her kidneys was removed. There have been so many cases, so many such cases are there. Okay. So it is because one of the reason for it is that people do not donate their organs right now. Not the live, not the ones who are alive, I mean to say. Once the people are dead, okay, if they were to have registered themselves for organ donation, it would be a very kind act. Okay. Similarly, the cornea in the eye, there's a cornea in our eye. Okay. The eye cornea, it could give the vision to a person who is blind right now. So people, there are so many peoples I personally know of who have registered themselves for their cornea donation, right? Getting it now. So the thing here is that there's a black market where kidneys are being sold. Okay, huh? So where were we at? We're basically talking about the parts of the excretory system in humans as well, right? Also, you guys tell me, like, apart from the waste being secreted, released from the human body, are there not other waste like the sweat? Sweat
Yes,
is
sir.
also waste, no? It is also
Yes,
waste.
sir.
Okay. So we will also study, like, is sweat helpful to the human body? Now, how it is useful? Yes.
Yes, sir.
After you are playing in the summer season, right? And if you were to sit under a fan, so you will start feeling cold, right? So sweat is actually helpful to the human body in the way that it helps the body to keep cool. It cools down the body, right? So it takes up the body heat and then makes us feel cold, especially during the summer season, right? So these are the things which we are going to study. All these things which we just saw, these are in context of animals. Later on, having discussed the transportation in animals, later on we'll be talking about transportation in plants. So thereby, we also have mechanism, but the mechanism is simpler as compared to the animals. Okay, right now. So you will be having different type of vessels in them also, like namely the xylem and phloem, right? You guys know about xylem and phloem.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just like in humans, you have arteries and veins. In the plant, you have got two type of vessels, namely the xylem and then the phloem. So we'll be talking about them as well. Okay. And later on, we will be studying about what is the role of transpiration in the flow of water in plants, right? If there is no transpiration in in plants, then the water movement in the plant will be it will be slowed down, or there will be almost no water movement taking place. So there is a role of transpiration to play here. So that is also one thing we are going to discuss in the class. Yeah. And then we will also study about. Hope you guys are not getting bored. Huh? We haven't begun the chapter actually. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I'm just giving a brief of the things we are going to study.
Okay,
We
sir.
will study about how roots absorbs water, what are the processes involved in that. All right, how loss of water takes place from different parts of the plant. So those things are also going to be discussed, and how there's an exchange of gases taking place, whether it be in the process of uh, photosynthesis or whether it be in the process of respiration. Okay, so if anyone has any questions, please do ask me. Okay.
No, sir.
Okay, so let's start the class then. Okay, just hold on for a moment. Let me have some water, then we will be continuing. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right. So let's begin the chapter then. Transportation in animals. So that is the first thing which we are going to study. There are few concepts you guys have to note while we'll be discussing the chapter. The first thing is that you need to know about the pressure difference thing. What is pressure difference and how it plays role in the flow of particles from one place to another. So thereby you will get to see that there's a flow of particles taking place from a high pressure area to the low pressure area. All right. Just like while we are breathing now, while you're breathing, you are taking in air. So in your lungs cavity, in the thoracic cavity or in the chest cavity, the pressure is low. Thereby, as compared to the pressure inside the thoracic cavity, that is the chest cavity, as compared to the outer, to the surrounding, the pressure inside the chest cavity is lesser. So as I know, the flow of particles will take place from a higher pressure to low pressure area. Thereby, in that manner, air enters our lungs while we are breathing. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes.
You guys got it or not? Because
No, sir.
I could be cross questioning also.
No,
So be
sir.
careful while you say yes. Huh? Okay, Vaiga. So look here, basically what happens now, like in the exercise of breathing, while you're inhaling air, so what happens? The muscles that are over the ribs, it expands the rib cage. No, rib cage expands basically,
Yes, sir.
right? Rib cage expands, the diaphragm, it lowers down, right? Diaphragm is pushed down, so thereby more space is created in the chest cavity. Getting it, Chakrika, Sandos, Vaiga? So due
Yes, sir.
to the more
Yes, sir.
space in the chest cavity, what happens now? The pressure is lower down. There is low pressure here. Huh? There is low pressure. Understand this simple thing that if you were now to hold the air molecules in a very compact space, if you were to hold it very tightly, just like you have the LPG cylinders, right? Where you have pressurized the pressurized the gas. You have pressurized it so much that now it has become liquid. Okay. So here it is having a very high pressure. In the case of liquefied petroleum gas cylinders, you have pressurized it. So it is existing at a very high pressure. So as soon as you turn on the nozzle, the gas comes out of it at a very high speed. Right now, it is stored in the liquid state inside the LPG gas. As soon as it comes outside, it has now come into a relatively lower pressure region. So thereby, it converts into gas and comes at a very high speed. Are you guys able to relate with the concept I'm trying to make you understand?
Yes, sir.
Hmm? So the
Yes, sir.
simple thing here is that if you were now to store so much of air molecules in a very tiny space, in a very tiny space, so we know that air molecules move here and there randomly, so they will be hitting hitting the walls of this container. Say
Yes, sir.
I have a very tiny container in which I have stored some air molecules, right?
So
And now
that's why we can't hold our breath for longer, right?
we can't hold our breath for longer. That is also one of the mechanism here, right? Now why? Because what will happen now, it will be a very low pressure developed here, right? Low pressure will be there, while as compared to the outside is having high pressure. So due to the pressure difference, we can't hold our breath for very long period of time. Very good. Now back to the concept I'm trying to make you guys understand that if I were to hold air molecules in a very tiny space, they will be hitting the containers, air molecules. So thereby they will be at high pressure. Everyone got this or not?
Yes. Yes, sir. Got it.
Got
So
it?
can you explain once again?
Sure. If you were to compress air molecules in a very tiny space, right? So what will happen? It will start to the air molecules will start to hit the walls of the container. It is just like this now. If you were to have an empty syringe, yeah, syringe, you all know, so syringe, the syringe,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
injection syringe. If you were to have an empty syringe like this, okay, now place your finger on one side of the empty syringe, removing after removing the needle, okay, press it like this and try to push the piston like this. Yeah, will you be able to push it? Huh?
No, sir. I mean,
No,
we
sir.
can, but
You will be
the
able to
pressure
push
will
it a
be high.
little bit. Exactly. You will be able to
Yes,
push
sir.
it a little bit, but beyond that, you will not be able to push it any further. Why? Because here, while you were pushing it, now you are trying to compress the air molecules. So thereby high pressure develops. That is clear, I hope.
So, but like we can balance the pressure, right? By putting same amount of energy in pushing both of those.
You can balance it. Look, what will happen now? Balance in what manner?
Uh, like we can apply the same force as we used when we're trying to like pull the, I mean, push the like the top part of the syringe.
Okay. If you are saying that we need to balance the force here, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So from this side, you are basically pushing it. Okay, you are applying force here, a push
Yes, sir.
force. You are saying that from the other side, I can balance it because balancing the
Like
force
with the
means.
same
Hmm.
force, like the same amount of force.
So in that case also, no, like if you were to have such a setup that you could be pressing the air from this hole also. So, so the basic thing here is that the air molecules are being pressed from both sides. Then, if you were to apply force from this side also, right, Sandus Vaiga, Chakrika. So thereby the air is getting more and more pressed. Balancing in that means like uh, you will have to you will be applying force from the other side. Okay. So basic thing is that air is now at high pressure. Now, if you were look at this container I had, now I have a bigger container. So as compared to this small container, I have got a big container. So in the big container, the air have got more spaces to move. So they will be having a lesser pressure as compared to the tiny smaller container. You guys are getting this thing or not?
Yes, I got it.
Everyone got it? So
Yes, sir.
now assume that this is the lungs of the human body. Okay. Just a rough diagram, just assume it. So as compared to the outside, as compared to the
So,
outs. Hmm.
so like if the space is larger and bigger, then the air, then the pressure will be less. But if it's in
Hmm.
like a small
Small
uh,
place, then the pressure will be
small
more.
space, and the pressure will be high. Okay, sir.
Exactly. So the basic thing is that, as moments ago I told you, the muscles over the ribs will be pulling the ribs. Okay, so it will expand, and the diaphragm, the flat tissue just above the abdominal cavity, now it will also be lowered down. Okay, it will be lowered down like this. So thereby the chest inflates, and then low pressure develops here. As we always talk in terms of comparison, we are comparing here right now. So in the outside, it's high pressure. Right now, Vaiga. Right, Sundus?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so see, Chakrika, we know that flow of particles takes place from a high pressure towards a low pressure. Thereby, from the outside, you are able to breathe. So thereby, air enters our lungs. Right?
Yes, sir.
So that exercise is clear, I hope, to everyone. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is what we are. Yeah. So this is how the flow of air takes place inside the human body. This is how you inhale. Now, while I am exhaling the air out, breathing involves two exercise. Now you have to inhalation is there and exhalation is also there. Right now. So in the process of exhalation, basically what happens, the muscles over the rib cage. Now it will be pulling the rib cage back. The chest cavity will now become smaller, right? And the diaphragm will also move upward. This is the diaphragm. This will move upward. The rib cage will little bit contract. So thereby the air space is now less. The area is lesser now, right? So lesser area, that means tiny space. Now the pressure will be more now, right? This is I'm talking about exhalation while we release the air outside. So the pressure here is high as compared to the outside body. Getting it or not? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Huh.
Sir,
So
can you
thereby,
repeat what did you say?
I said that while I'm exhaling the air out now, so in doing that exercise, what basically happens? The chest cavity becomes smaller. How? The muscles will be pulling the pulling back the rib cage. Okay, the diaphragm will move upward, right? So thereby the chest cavity is now reduced. The space is now smaller. The air inside in the chest cavity is now smaller. So a small space means high pressure, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, here in exhalation there will be high pressure
Yeah.
as we're releasing the carbon dioxide out. But
Mm-hmm.
like what the I didn't get like the lower space, like the less space.
Why then we?
Which part of the body, like which part of the respiratory system has like which part will be decreased in size when we exhale?
It's both the lungs as well as the rib cage as well. Okay. If you were to look at the structure of the rib cage now, in the middle of the rib cage, there's a cartilaginous tissue called as sternum. Yeah. This is not a bone.
Yes,
In the
sir.
middle, it's a tissue called
So,
as
sir.
sternum.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So can I just go drink some water and come?
Huh, okay, okay, no issue. So there's a cartilaginous tissue in the middle of the rib cage. So thereby the rib cages can expand and then contract as well. Right now. So along with the contraction of the rib cage, the lungs also contracts. You know, lungs can inflate and contract, everyone knows, right? Okay, now.
Yes, sir.
So that is the concept you need to be, you need to know that due to the pressure difference, there will always be a flow of particle from high pressure region to the low pressure region. Whether it be in the context of the breathing, whether it be in the context of exchange of particles from the cell to the outside medium. See, you have got a cell. Let's say it's a muscle cell. Okay. Now it requires, let's say, oxygen. It is in need of oxygen, and it is connected with the nerves now. Getting it now? This is a nerve that is carrying blood along with oxygen also. So this cell is deficient in oxygen, right? This is deficient in oxygen. It is having, let's say, 2 molecules of oxygen while the blood is carrying 4 molecules of oxygen. So there is a pressure difference here also, no? There's a concentration different actually. This one is having lesser, this one is having more number of oxygen molecules. So thereby, due to the difference in the pressure, due to the difference in the terms of concentration also, the flow is taking place. In this, we say it's from a high concentration area to the low concentrated area. Yeah. Is that clear to everyone? Yeah, I hope.
Sir, so like the oxygen from the nerves will be transferred to the cell, right?
Exactly. Oxygen from the nerves will be transferred to the cell.
So what happens if the nerves are getting the oxygen but not the cell?
What happens if the nerves have the oxygen but it's not being transported to the cell,
Into the cell, yes, sir.
into the cell? So thereby what will happen? The cells will start to die, because in order in order for the cells to perform respiration, oxygen is required now,
So,
right?
sir, if when the cell dies, like
Hmm.
it should be uh decomposed somewhere, right? In our body, but it should be in our body.
Look here.
Like
It is
it's
it is
basically a waste material right now.
it's a waste material, and it is excreted along with the waste right now. See, like there are dead tissues inside the human body also, right? So the medicines that you intake, so those medicines, they do what? They basically help in the rapid decomposition of a particular tissue, so that that tissue is removed and a new tissue grows in that, in place of that. Okay, so a tissue that is not damaged, if it could be repaired, the medicine should be helping in the repairment of that tissue, right now. So basically repairment takes place while a tissue is basically being repaired now. For example, if someone were to have a wound in the hand, right, so all the dead tissue, it will wear off. Now in place of that, new tissues will grow. So in that manner, basically how growth takes place, right? Okay.
Okay, sir.
You were saying that if the oxygen supply is stopped, obviously then the cell will die,
Okay, sir.
right? And in place of that, new cells will be growing. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So that is one concept you need to be you need to know beforehand while we do the chapter. And after this thing, now there's a one more thing you need to know. You need to be aware about osmosis and diffusion also. Osmosis and osmosis and
Diffusion.
diffusion.
The
So
osmosis is a process in a plant, right?
not just in plants,
Sir,
it could be in an
I know
outside
it's in
medium also.
water, right, sir?
Huh. It's related to water. Okay. By the way, this RO that you hear of, like this is a RO water. Huh? RO water. We hear this thing. So RO what is what? RO here stands for reverse osmosis. Okay. So while we will be studying about osmosis, we will talk a little bit about reverse osmosis also.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Hmm. Then we will know like what the diffusion is or what is diffusion also. Okay. Hmm. Now, first let's to talk about like osmosis. Sundus, you were saying regarding osmosis. Hmm. You would like to add some points. Also, make sure you guys are taking notes of these concepts somewhere. Huh? At least these are very important notes. Please do make sure you note them down.
Yes, sir.
Huh. So
Yes,
osmosis.
sir.
So Sundus, you would like to add some points to osmosis. Osmosis.
Um,
Mhm. See, osmosis. No, it
So
is
can I?
nothing. Huh? Yeah, sure.
Sir, I'm not sure if it's correct.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically the concentration, like the pressure of the water molecules.
Hmm.
Like, it is almost like the same thing which we discussed before, not exactly, but it's about like the water molecules from high concentration to lower concentration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is about that is osmosis. That is correct. Hmm. So you have defined it, huh? Correct. Yeah, Sundus.
yeah, so
So osmosis is the
um, is a process
Yes.
like the pressure of water goes from high concentration to low concentration. That's what Chakrika said, right?
yeah, that is what Chikrika just said. Okay.
Sir, sir, and basically osmosis and diffusion the same thing.
They are the same thing. The only difference between them is that in the case of osmosis now, you get to see that there is a movement of water from an area of from such an area where the water potential is more, water concentration is more as compared to the area where there's a low water concentration, right? And there could be a there could be a yeah, sorry, there could be a semi-permeable membrane through which if the movement of water especially takes place through a such a membrane which is semi-permeable, it will allow some particles to pass while some particles will be stopped. So that also has to be included while we talk about osmosis. So say there are two water bottles like this. One is filled up to this level like this.
So,
Okay.
sir, diffusion is about air and osmosis is about water.
Yeah, in that manner also we study that diffusion is about particles like air, and it could be about any other liquid apart from water as well. Okay, osmosis is especially about water, just about water, while diffusion is about any type of liquid, any type of gas also, not the solids, right? So I am right now talking about osmosis. All of you pay attention here. So you have got two bottles here like this, right? In which one the water potential is more? In A or B?
So in
Yeah.
A.
Yes.
A. So here the water potential is more. So thereby water will be moving from bottle A to bottle B. Both of them are basically being connected here, right? Okay. So also we know that a water solution having if you were to talk about in context of a animal cell, okay. So if there is a water solution, it consists of, let's say, nutrients. They it consists of water. Obviously, there are salts in it, right now. So these are this is water. Let's say it's a surrounding a cell. Yeah. Say this is a cell. Assume that this is a cell. Okay. And then this cell is surrounded by a watery medium, and this watery medium, no, it consists of nutrients also. Okay, it consists of some amount of salt also, right? There could be gaseous molecules also around this. Gaseous molecule will also be around the cell, let's say. So all this makes up the external environment of a cell. What does this make up? These are the external environment of this cell,
Yes, sir.
right now. So the cell's outer surface, all of you know, that is the plasma membrane. I suppose all of you know about plasma membrane, cell
Yes,
membrane or plasma membrane, the outermost cover
Yes,
of an
sir.
animal cell. Okay,
Yes,
not
sir.
that of the plant cell. So
Plants.
this outermost plasma membrane, which you know, it is semi-permeable in nature. If you guys know, huh? Like it will be allowing only some particles to pass through it. Let's suppose there are tiny pores in it, huh? Suppose it's a say it's a semi-permeable membrane. Getting it now? So this outer surface of the cell, that is the um plasma membrane that is in contact with the outer medium now, right? This plasma membrane is in contact with the external environment. Getting it not? While the inner part of the plasma membrane will be in contact with the cytoplasm. I suppose you all know about cytoplasm. Yeah,
Yes,
the
sir.
jelly fluid like substance found inside a cell, that is called a cytoplasm, and this is
yes,
the nucleus. Okay, so the plasma membrane will be basically controlling what will be entering the cell, what will be leaving the cell. All of it will be controlled by the plasma membrane. But then, of course, nucleus will be guiding the plasma membrane to allow such material to pass and allow such material to not pass. Right. So this membrane will be allowing only some material to pass. Right. Passage of some materials will be stopped. So thereby, it's selectively permeable membrane. So some small molecules, for example, will be passing through the membrane, right? And if for the transport of those small molecules, if there is no amount of energy required, look here, if a molecule has to pass from an outer medium inside the cell, and if no energy is required now, so such a thing will be called as passive transport. Remember, in the process of breathing, I told you about active and passive energy. If you guys remember, there I told you about what is Active energy, what is passive energy? Like when you're inhaling air, you have to spend some amount of energy while you're inhaling air, right? While you exhale the air out, energy is not required. That much of energy is not required. That much of effort
Yes,
is not
sir.
required. Hope you are able to relate what I'm trying to say. So, if the transport of a molecule takes place from the outer medium into the cell without the requirement of energy, so that is called as passive transport. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is called as passive transport. And if the energy is
So
required,
can you
that will be
say
called.
again?
Huh, I'm
Sir,
saying that.
actually, can you repeat again?
I'm repeating that again. I am saying that if there's a transport of a molecule from the external medium into the internal medium, into the cell basically, and there is no energy involved in that process. Okay, so that is called as passive transport. Is that clear or not? Say there is a
No,
cell.
sir.
Okay, okay, look here. Say now there is a cell like this. Okay, and say there's a component outside of it. Okay, and it has to enter into the cell. Okay, say I have this component. Say this is a small molecule. It needs to enter into the cell, and while it was entering into the cell inside the cell, it didn't require any energy. The cell did not had to spend any amount of energy. No effort was involved in it. It is happening just because of the difference in the concentration of this particular outside the cell and inside the cell. Say I have got this one oxygen molecule in my hand, let's suppose it, and the cell has got no oxygen molecule. So there is a difference of concentration of this oxygen molecule. Getting it or not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So there's a
So
no.
I didn't get it.
Look here. Have a look at this diagram. Was there any effort required while the water flow was taking from bottle A to bottle B?
No, sir.
Because there was a difference in concentration, right?
Yes,
Similarly,
sir.
if you have got things in numbers, right, 5, 10, 15, like this, so there you are having different concentration. In that term also we call it as concentration. So if you have only like one molecule of oxygen in my hand and this cell is in need of it because it doesn't have any, so it will be moving inside the cell through the plasma membrane of the cell. Getting it now? Because it is
Yes, sir.
selectively permeable and no energy is involved in it. Hence, it is called as passive transport. So, this two methods, na guys, this whether you say the osmosis or diffusion, right? In both the processes, no effort is required, no energy is required at all.
Okay,
Hope
sir.
it is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir. Got it.
got it now? So, this is the thing which we are basically studying, right? So, although you might not have heard of the term like diffusion, or if you have heard, it is good. But we actually
So
know,
we talked about diffusion and respiration rate.
if they there I have taught you, so from there you can recall that right now. So whether it's a diffusion or osmosis, none of them requires energy. And the diffusion, like we basically experience it at different instances in our life. Okay, inside the body as well, right now. Okay, now the thing is now diffusion. For example, if you were to light a incense stick in the corner of the room, so the aroma of that incense stick will travel in other rooms as well, right? Or if there's something,
Yes, sir. Like this was the
something
same
is being cooked.
example
Hmm.
you used to explain diffusion
Oh,
and
okay, okay.
respiration.
I told you, no? Okay. So just like if something is being cooked in the kitchen, its smell could be heard from another room, right? The aroma could be heard. Sorry, heard. I'm saying could be a smell from the other room. Okay. Okay. So that's it for today. So these were the basically fundamental things we need to study in case of transportation, right? These are fundamental terms I will be using again and again. So that's why it is necessary to know about them. All right. So that's it for today. We'll be meeting in next class then. All right.